This segment of Packard Pokes At was made possible by patrons of the show and viewers like you. Please go to patreon.com/PackardPokesAt to help support the show. Thank you. Earlier this month, the measles have been in the news a lot lately, and in 2015, the measles outbreak has gotten up to 102. Now, there's a lot of crackpots out there, Beck being one of them, saying that there's no outbreak of this because he's got this weird conspiracy about this shit. But this all happened, apparently started out at the Disney, the amusement park out there. Now, apparently what happened was visitors reported coming down with measles after visiting the park from December 15th to December 20th. I'm sorry, last year. And apparently, well, since it says here, measles was declared eliminated in the United States in the year 2000, which means it was no longer native to the United States, but it continues to be brought in by international travelers. Since 2001, the number of cases topped at 100 only 5 times, and there were more than 200 cases in 2011, which was reported by the CDC. However, this last year, the number spiked to 644 cases. It's a highly communicable disease, respiratory disease, caused by a virus that spreads through the air. So basically, measles makes Ebola look like a pussy, basically. It's just... Ebola, it kills you, but you actually have to come in contact with somebody that has Ebola. Measles...
You actually touch them.
Yes, exactly. You actually have to touch them, and they have to be, coming down with it. Measles, it spreads through the air. So if someone comes by that's walked by you, sneezes or coughs in your direction, and they have the measles, you can get it. You can get that way. And that is way worse because people can die from the measles. It does all kinds of nasty shit to you. Now, the thing is, though, there's a lot of reporting out there. Fox being the number one stupid people out there, they seem thinking that people coming in from somewhere else was the main reason. I checked this out on Snopes here because Snopes is really good for this. It said this is the claim that patient 0 between 2014 and 2015 was found to be an already vaccinated child or an illegal immigrant. Now, that turns out it's false because if your child has already been immunized against it, they can't get the disease and they can't spread it if they should contract it in some way because their body would say, okay, I've seen this disease before. We know what to do with this, and it eliminates it. It's like having little Terminators inside your body already set to go. They're already looking for John Connor, I guess. Sorry. There's a new Terminator movie coming out. But this is a big problem right now, and the fact is that the religious right and some Republicans are saying, oh, well, you get your kids vaccinated, but it should be the parents' choice. We shouldn't mandate it. I mean, it's like there's this thing called herd immunity, and we all need this immunity so this way everybody can stay healthy. If your kid is sick and your Johnny or Jane goes to school and they don't have the immunity for it, and the other person was a carrier of it, and then your kid's going to get sick. So, and then if you get one that's sick, it can get even more people sick in the long run. It's not a good thing here. Dana, your thoughts?
Greetings from the scariest place on earth. Oh my God, Disneyland. Okay, so not long ago, the most annoying thing about Disneyland was the It's a Small World ride.
Oh, it's a small world after all with Ebola and the measles.
That's right.
I love that ride.
Okay, so I came up with a few headlines for this story here. It's in California, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, from Point Break to Outbreak. No? Okay. How about this one? Number 2, 100. Sorry, let's try this again. Number 2,
take 2.
$120 measly for a ticket. And the obvious one, number 3. What kind of Mickey Mouse disease-ridden theme park is this?
Nice.
Apparently, the marketers have pretty much jumped on this. There's a new ride at the park now called the Centrifuge. Specifically for kids who have the virus, where the virus is literally spun out of the cells, and the funnel cakes are literally spun out of the kids.
That's called the Gravitron. Just saying. I've been on this ride. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I ran out of jokes.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to pass it over to the next speaker.
Tom, your thoughts?
Well, this really kind of started like 10, 12 years ago when that idiot made the connection between vaccines and Down syndrome, or not Down syndrome, autism.
Mm-hmm.
And now it got everyone freaked out and started this movement against vaccines. And now they're looking for any excuse not to get them. And once people learn something, even if it's wrong, it's very difficult to get them to unlearn it or to let it go.
Right.
And the more you try to convince them that they're wrong, the more they hold on to the idea that they're right. And they're making all these really kind of crazy connections. I was listening to a story the other day. Somebody said, they use aluminum in the vaccines, and there is an amount of aluminum in vaccines. But when you drink a soda, you're getting an amount of aluminum just from the can.
Yes, you are.
So, I mean, the quantities are so low in vaccines. But I guess one of the issues that they're having is when they're getting initially vaccinated, they like to do them in groups, because when you bring your kid to the doctor, would you rather bring them in 10 times for 10 shots or one time and give them 10 shots all at the same time?
Yeah.
And they're using that as an excuse. They're like, oh, no, I want to bring our kids in for, their own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But, the religious excuses are, I don't even get. I can understand those who are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there's a very small percentage of people who actually are allergic or do have adverse reactions to getting vaccinated. But it's just the scare tactic of, big government. They're trying to run your life. They're forcing you to do this. And, you got to rebel against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the name of that clown was Dr. Andrew Wakefield. And it was something that he put out. He's a gastroenterologist.
Yeah.
It's a stomach doctor.
Yeah, from what I understand is that the reason why we have this crisis in the United States right now, because a doctor, or supposedly a doctor, I don't know what exactly his exact position was, but he said,
Dr. Zeus.
Yeah, Dr. Zeus. he was coming up. Was that?
Dr. Andrew Wakefield, a gastroenterologist.
Okay, it's the same guy. Okay. He came up with he claimed he came up with another vaccine for the measles, was what his claim was anyway. So to get the vaccine people, the ones that, pay billions of dollars to the people who developed this stuff, and billions of dollars, I don't know what they get paid. But so that way to get his vaccine to the market, he started this rumor basically saying, oh, this vaccine over here that you've been taking for the measles or whatever, or other vaccines, are the ones that are causing autism. And if you take this one, you won't get autism. So it was a scam. Now, science is a wonderful thing. Scientists sometimes are pieces of shit. Not science, tries to help solve problems. Sometimes we get problems from science, but overall science has been a good thing. Sometimes scientists, because they do stupid things and they want to make a lot of money because they're just greedy bastards, then you get bad science out of them, and that's what happened here with Wakefield. He was a bad scientist. So he tried to sell this bullshit story, and some people thought, oh, that's obviously the connection, and that was not the connection. Tom, did you have any other thoughts on that?
Well, I know a lot of people, people I consider to be intelligent, who are, I don't want to say they're afraid to get a flu vaccine, but they think flu vaccines are a conspiracy, that, the government's trying to poison people with flu vaccines. I mean, people get the idea in their head from, whatever bad idea, and then that bad idea kind of evolves into just crazy thoughts.
Yes.
So one thing I did want to add is I was listening to a story this morning, and they're talking about having healthcare workers and people who work with children to make sure that they've been vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about this. I'm sure I was vaccinated, but I was a little kid. I have no idea. And my mother's dead. I really no one to ask if I have been vaccinated. And they were suggesting that, it might be a good idea since, they've had these outbreaks. If you're going to be in an area like, Disney,
oh yeah,
you might want to get revaccinated just in case.
That's probably a good idea, actually. So, because there's so many people that are in and out of that place, you don't know what anybody's carrying. This is why we need herd immunity overall. I mean, especially in places like that. Here in Wisconsin, we have this place in the area called Wisconsin Dells. People literally come from all over the world just to go to this area where there's a water park. I used to work at one particular one, and I met people from at least 4 or 5 different countries in just one season that I was working there. And of course, that's a small percentage right there. But I mean, it's still, the fact is, I was shocked that people were coming in from Europe or somewhere else just to visit here. It's like, why would you fly all the way across the world to come to Wisconsin? Don't you have water parks anywhere else in the world or something? So it was kind of weird. So,
but another problem is that people here, like in this country, measles has been defeated. Polio has been defeated. It's now no longer part of the United States disease portfolio.
Right.
And people think, oh, it's gone now. I'm safe. I don't need a vaccine. I don't need to get my kids vaccinated because the disease no longer exists in this country.
Right. And
they live in this mindset that, we're in a bubble. Nobody from any other country's coming here. We're all safe.
Right. Yeah, that's it. They think we live in a bubble and that they don't need to have their kids vaccinated.